I am calling this meeting of the Town of Silver City Council to order. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. I'd like to especially welcome Lieutenant Cousin here. He will be our security officer at the meeting. Welcome. The next item on the agenda is changes to the agenda. Anyone have changes to the agenda? Okay. Next item is proclamations, and this evening we have 3 proclamations. So I'm going to just go down to the podium and read them, and as I call your name, for those of you who signed up to receive the proclamation, if you would join me at the podium, and I will read the proclamation, present it to you, and then give you a few minutes to make any comments that you wish to make. And if you have someone here with a camera that wants to take some pictures, we can do that too. First, since September 29 through October 1, 2017, is Southwest Festival of the Written Word Weekend. The town would like to recognize this with a proclamation. Will Jeannie Miller, I think, to accept the proclamation, please come forward.
I have her at play.
Whereas it is the mission of the Southwest Festival of the Written Word to celebrate the power and beauty of the written word, bringing together those who create with those who appreciate, with special emphasis on fostering community involvement. And whereas the 2017 Southwest Festival of the Written Word is bringing to historic downtown Silver City over 30 authors who live and work in the Southwest to present more than 35 sessions in casual and intimate settings in which they will interact directly with the festival goers. And whereas the 2017 Southwest Festival of the Written Word is for readers and writers of all ages, and all events are open to the public free of charge. And whereas the 2017 Southwest Festival of the Written Word brings visitors in from around the country, which enhances the economic vitality of the community. Now therefore, I, Ken Ladner, Mayor of the Town of Silver City, Grand County, New Mexico, in view of the inherent value of this, do hereby proclaim September 29, 30, and October 1, 2017 as the Southwest Festival of the Written Word Weekend, and urge all citizens to attend and enjoy the festival.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I get to say a couple words? Oh, okay. Oh, we have to do this. Okay. I didn't want to see this. Our photographer. Say cheese. Okay. It's my turn, right?
If you wish.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank my co-chair. I am the co-chair of this festival, along with Mary Hotvet, and a steering committee that is dynamite. And we do this every other year on the odd-numbered years. And it is open to the public, free of charge, and we want everybody to come. being an artist, whether it's painting, writing, doing music, is a very solitary activity. And so part of the reason for doing this, as is reading, by the way, and so we bring together people who normally sit in little rooms and do this stuff by themselves, together to talk and to exchange ideas, not only with other writers, but also with the readers who appreciate them. So I want to thank the Town Council for the lodger's tax grant that we received. As Linda Amon Smith would say, this is a gift to the community from us who believe in writing and reading and feel that it brings a community together and makes a community a community. So please come. It's a great weekend to have it. It's all downtown within walking distance. The sessions are 1 hour apiece, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Our website is www.swordfiesta.org. And the full schedule and the presenters' bios are all out there. So come on down and join us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, the town would like to honor Saturday, September 30, 2017, as Walk for the Heroes Day and present a proclamation. The main organizers of this event is Michael and Liz Lopez. We'd like you to please come forward to the podium, and I think you may have some of your co-walkers with you. If you'd like to bring them up too, that would be great. Whereas the Walk for the Heroes Day on September 30, 2017 is an undertaking to honor the losses we have suffered after 9/11. And whereas the walk commemorates Americans who died for our country following the 9/11 tragedy, including civilians, first responders, firefighters, policemen, and our armed forces. And whereas the walk also commemorates the, quote, Gold Star moms, end quote, and families who lost loved ones and struggle every day after the attack on the Twin Towers. And whereas the volunteers' monetary donations and contributions will help out with completing the journey. And whereas some of the proceeds from the walk will be used to establish the James H. Pirtle Scholarship Fund, which benefits the Grand County, New Mexico Transition Center for Homeless Veterans. And whereas the Walk for the Heroes, walkers and runners, will start at the old James Stadium, Silver City, New Mexico, beginning at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 20, 2017. And whereas the Walk for the Heroes is a great public outreach undertaking for local Marines, Navy, Army, and Air Force and their families. Now therefore, I, Ken Ladner, Mayor of the town of Silver City, do hereby proclaim September 30th, 2017 as Walk for the Heroes Day.
Thank you so much.
Just come over here where you can get a picture this way.
Hold up your images.
Liz, who will make comments?
I will.
Okay.
I hope all can make the walk on Saturday, September 30th. Hope to see you all there, and Like I say, it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be there at 8 o'clock, so we're looking forward to see if this will be a big event for all our veterans. We're going to be having opening ceremonies. We'll also feed the walkers as well. This has been a lot, putting everything together. I've been doing this for the last 3 weeks. And like I say, my husband was not able to be here today. I thought he was going to make it from out of town, but he did not make it. But like I say, I thank you so much, Mayor, for being there for us and giving us this proclamation. And we're hoping to see you all there. Thank you.
And last but not least, since October 8th through the 14th, 2017, is Fire Prevention Week, the town will also recognize this with a proclamation. Will Fire Chief Lambert and others you've invited please come forward? Two of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whereas the town of Silver City is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Silver City. And whereas U.S. Fire departments responded to 365,500 home fires in 2015, and according to the National Fire Protection Association, and U.S. home fires resulted in 2,560 civilian deaths in 2015, representing the majority, 78%, of all U.S. fire deaths. Whereas newer homes are built with lightweight materials that burn faster than older home construction, and whereas many of today's products and furnishings produce toxic gases and smoke when burned, make it impossible to see and breathe within moments. And whereas these conditions contribute to a much smaller window of time for people to escape a home fire safely, with people having as little as 1 to 2 minutes to escape from the time the smoke alarm sounds. And whereas a home fire escape plan provides the skill set and know-how to quickly and safely escape a home fire situation, and whereas a home fire escape plan includes 2 exits from every room in the home, a path to the outside from each exit, smoke alarms in all required locations, and a meeting place outside where everyone in the home will meet upon exiting. And home fire escape plans should be developed by all members of the household, and practicing a home fire escape plan twice a year ensures that everyone in the household knows what to do in a real fire situation. Whereas Silver City firefighters are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Silver City's residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2017 Fire Prevention Week theme, quote, "Every second counts, plan 2 ways out," end quote, effectively serves to educate the public about the vital importance of developing a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practicing it twice a year. Now, therefore, I, Ken Ladner, Mayor of the town of Silver City, Grand County, New Mexico, in view of the inherent value of this, do hereby proclaim October 8th through 14, 2017 as Fire Prevention Week. I urge all the people of Silver City to find, develop a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practice it twice a year, and to participate in the many public safety activities and efforts of the Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week 2017. Chief,
Thank you, sir.
if you'd like to make a few comments.
Yes, Fire Prevention Week commemorates the Great Chicago Fire. October 8th, 1871 is when that actually started. Most of the damage from that fire actually happened on October 9th. When the fire was through, it left 250 people dead, 100,000 people homeless. It had burnt roughly 17,000 structures and 2,000 acres of land. So President Calvin Coolidge declared that the week that encompasses October 9th every year will be proclaimed Fire Prevention Week. Silver City Fire Department honors this tradition, and we have a full array of educational experiences both at the station and we will go to schools or daycares if they're not able to attend an event at the station. So I would urge anyone that is interested in scheduling us to have their classrooms or their school either come to the station for tours and education or have us present it with them, to contact Fire Inspector Kyle Marshall, and I'll give his phone number out, 956-1275, so that we can continue to offer this full array of services. Thank you, Mayor Ladner.
Thank you, Chief. Mario, what's a picture here? Let me hand them to you. There you go. Take that picture there.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda is council comments. Councilor Kano.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to congratulate the students, staff, faculty, and alumni of WNMU on a very successful homecoming this past week. Everyone who participated enjoyed it very much. And on behalf of the board of the Alumni Association, I just wanted to publicly thank the mayor. He and his wife were very, very supportive and helpful, and they opened up their home to the Alumni Association to make sure that we were successful this year, and we really much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one quick thing to say, and this is concerning the veterans. There's been a national trend, and everybody knows about it, about not representing the flag. I hope it doesn't happen here in Silver. If you don't like some person, that's fine, but don't take it out on the American flag. There's too many veterans that have died, too many veterans that are suffering for it, and they're showing more and more disrespect towards the veterans. Please don't respect the veterans. Grand County has a lot of veterans, and it hurts all the veterans here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Amon Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to be brief. First, I want to say that I very much like the stop signs at the corner of Broadway and Bullard. I've noticed traffic flowing much more thoroughly, and maybe it's just the newness that I haven't been nearly hit as a pedestrian there since this was installed, so thank you. I also want to congratulate the Gila Conservation Coalition and the hundreds of volunteers who put on the magnificent Gila River Festival this past weekend. I don't know if any of you were down in the Big Ditch Park when the monsoon puppet parade came down, but it was lovely to see all of those kids parading down through the town and into the Big Ditch Park. I want to let you know, Alex, that this past weekend, Diana Leba Ingalls and I reaffirmed our plan to start working on art in the crosswalk in October and November, so it's been on the schedule and we're gearing up for it. I want to let the public watch you know that tomorrow on September 27th, there are going to be a number of groups of people coming into our town. One is going to be the U.S. Department of Agricultural Rural Development Acting State Director and his staff will be coming in to preside over Grant County Renewable Energy Day, with a ceremony beginning at 9 a.m. in the morning at the Western New Mexico University Student Memorial Building, 3rd floor, where they're going to recognize folks who have received grants for the Rural Energy for America program. And so I will be there because the mayor's asked me to be, and I think that Town Manager Mr. Brown will be there. So there'll be dignitaries who give us money there. So if you see them, thank them. There'll also be about 100 people coming in tomorrow to participate in the New Mexico American Planning Association conference, which is going to be held downtown at the El Sol is the conference center, but they will be walking all over town and going into businesses. And so if you see people wandering around looking at things, greet them in our usual Silver City friendly manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Benson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the Western held a hot rods, hoppers, and low riders event, and amazing vehicles, amazing people. Some of the folks I actually knew that were there. It was really wonderful to meet people and talk about their vehicles. Don't know much about cars, but I sure like looking at them. That's my favorite thing, is to look at them and see all the work and all the love that people have put into their vehicles. I also want to thank the folks for the LGBTQ Pride Day committee. I thought they did a great job in Golf Park. It was really quite a bit of fun, and I wish I could have stayed the whole day. I enjoyed the doggy little doggy show that they had, so it was quite wonderful. And there was a lot of good food down there, and lots of folks supporting diversity in terms of sexual orientation and other things in our community down there, so I really appreciated it. And lastly, I was remiss because I was so tired from coming back from a trip. I did not say happy belated birthday to Councilor Cano.
Birthday.
We'll have to run to then. Run to, Councilor Redison didn't mention that her birthday is the day after mine. Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday.
Councilor Benson, anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any additional comments from the council? I had a few. Oh, Councilor Ray.
I'm sorry. I got another thing also to say, that I've been asked around quite a few times about off-road vehicles, that how come Silver City won't pass it when all the rest of the communities have already passed it, including the county. Well, I don't know how to answer that. I just say that, for lack of a better word, maybe not enough support, maybe not enough info to pass on to the people, to the council. So I'm going to try it again. To those people that were wishing for me to do it, I'm going to try it again. And maybe it'll pass and maybe it won't pass. And also, since we have a lot of activities going on in Grand County and in Silver, there's going to be a big dance this coming weekend. And I would like to see a lot of people go out there and go and enjoy a good time with one musician is from here, locally is from here, and the other ones are from Texas, I think. Anyway, it's going to be at the Flame, and I hope people go. I hope we can support each other like we support everything else. And with that, thank you.
Any other comments? Which brings me to my next item of, I've read in the Silver City Daily Press that the county did pass an ordinance authorizing the use of OHVs, and I guess Lieutenant Kuzin is going to address this, and what I'd like to know is, how does that ordinance affect Silver City's ordinance, which prohibits the use of these vehicles on city roads?
Good afternoon, Council. Good afternoon, Council. Thus far, what we have, the city ordinance is still in place. Nothing's been approved, nothing's changed. The use of recreational off-highway vehicles is still prohibited within the city limits. However, outside of the city limits, from what I understand and what I've read, what's being authorized, even out in the county, if it is an off-highway vehicle, it has to have a steering wheel, it has to have seat belts, it cannot be straddle-seated apparatus, and has to be able to, I believe, reach a speed of over 35 miles an hour, and it still has to be registered as well. But within the city limits proper, no such thing exists at this time, and from my understanding, we're still maintaining what we have because the municipality has the option of having their own regulations set forth on it.
What would happen, for example, if someone was coming down PA Road and then they crossed over 32nd Street, which is a city street? Is that illegal, or?
The way the city ordinance reads, they actually have a specific subsection on that, driving off-highway motor vehicles adjacent to streets. And the way that reads is, if they're coming from a private property or a place where OHVs are used exclusively off of the highway, they can do that to get from point A to point B. However, it has to be in the smallest route possible, the shortest route possible.
Any questions from the council? Council Beddison?
My understanding is, just to clarify, is that state highways, which includes PA Road, which is State Highway 15, and that includes Silver Heights Boulevard, which is Highway 180, and then Hudson Street, which is Highway 90, that those roads, that they can't be driven on, even if the municipality did pass something, which we haven't as yet, because that is governed by the State Transportation Board.
I would have to research that more for you before I give you an honest answer. The ordinance that they have right now for the county, I don't have any specific details on that, but I can certainly look that up for you.
Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown?
Actually, that's true. The State Highway Board can and has actually authorized the use of some state roads, not highways, state roads, and I believe in northern New Mexico, a couple of them. But they have not authorized the use of any state highways, roads in Grant County anyway. So that has to be approved by the DOT board.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Councilor Wright.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
I live on Cooper Street, and if I want to put gas up there on the gas station, I'm allowed to go from my residence all the way across Highway 90, only if I stay on the dirt road. If I get to a stop sign, I can go across the street, like you said, in a straight line, put gas, and come back the same route, correct?
It says specifically for the purpose of gaining access to or returning from areas designed for the operation of off-highway motor vehicles. That's what the city ordinance says. By shortest route possible, when no other route is available, or when the area adjacent to a street is being used as a staging area. So, I mean, for the purpose of putting gas in, I would interpret that to say no, just because it's not for the purpose of use of off-highway vehicles.
Okay, because I know it says, I not read it before that you can do it.
Okay. Like I said, I mean, I'll look through it again, but I didn't see any subsection in there as far as putting gasoline in the vehicle or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Mr. Brown?
Chief Reynolds was going to make this presentation. He had a family emergency, so I want to give credit to Lieutenant Cruzan for getting as prepared as he could.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
I had an opportunity to visit my hometown on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi 4 or 5 months ago, and I noticed a big change from the time that I was there last time. This town was totally annihilated by Hurricane Katrina, and it's come back great guns to the point where people are moving in like crazy, and it's like overcrowded. And I noticed for the first time that there were a lot of these electric carts on the streets. And I know it's helped a lot with parking on the beach, where you can park two of these in the space of one car, basically. Just a comment. I am aware that the Grant County Water Commission is a finalist for the National Award as a result of its involvement in the creation of a regional water delivery system. The first phase of which is the delivery of water from a Silver City well field near the airport to the town of Hurley. During the entire existence of that commission, its chair has been either James Marshall, who was at the time was our mayor, and our town manager, Alex Brown. These two gentlemen have guided that commission toward the actions that are about to be honored, and I think it's appropriate to give them the recognition that they deserve. Well done, Mr. Brown, and if you'd pass that on to Mr. Marshall, I'd appreciate it. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the September 12, 2017 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of the town of Silver City of September 12, 2017.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Patterson?
I second the motion as stated.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public input. I see there are no names on the list, so we will move on to the next item, which is reports. Mr. Brown?
We have Assessor Raul Turrieta, who will make a presentation on the 2017 property tax rates.
Mr. Torrieta?
Good afternoon. I can't go any place without these. I guess with all these events, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, my back hurts. But we sure did have a lot of fun, from the LGBT to the lowriders to the Monsoon Puppet Parade, the Gila River Festival, and I enjoy doing every single one of them. I would like to start off, if I may, Mayor, Councilor, Attorney, County City Manager. I would like to make a small introduction. There's a young lady, I'd like to say a young lady, that we just hired for the County Assessor's Office. We do have such a load, and I do believe, yes, she's still here in the building, and I do welcome her with open arms, not only as a team member, but also as a family in the Assessor's Office. She's going to be an enormous asset here in Grant County, and her name is Desiree Liska. So would you mind standing up, Desiree?
Welcome.
So please, we welcome her in the County Assessor's Office. Thank you very much. Every year at about this time, I actually like to keep everybody informed of what's going on with these tax rates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a hard copy, and I will email and I do believe I did email it to the newspaper, and thank you for printing it on the newspaper there, Ben. Appreciate that. For 2017, we actually sent our certification on June of 2017, and what happens there is that's certified on what state assessed property, local assessment, and copper production. So all these numbers that are placed in there, it arrives a tax rate. And I'll be very brief. From the year 2016 to the year 2017, I'm just going to actually give you the breakdown on the percentage changes on it. The state debt service pretty much stayed the same. The residential went up about 0.82%. The non-residential and county debt service were no increase. However, in the town of Silver City, residential 1 in, and that means 1 in is in the city limits. On the residential rate, you're looking at 0.67 on the negative side. That means that the rate went down. And on the non-residential, it also went, it went up 0.81. And what I mean by non-residential, it's actually your commercial properties, your vacant land, and that's what's considered non-residential. I just want to actually talk about the town of Silver City. The one out is actually everything outside the Silver City limits. That actually was also a decrease. But interesting to say, with the bonds that passed in the mining district, you're looking at an increase of over 21% in 2B, that's in Tuber, 2C, that's in Santa Clara, 2H, and that's in Hurley, due to the fact that they passed these bonds, so they will see an increase on their property taxes. We are in the process of rolling over our tax rolls to the county treasurer, and that's going to be sometime this week or early part of next week. What happens there, they send it to the printer, and they will actually mail out the tax bill in the first part of November. Any questions so far? We always break down in exactly what we're talking about just in the town of Silver City. On the town of Silver City, for the year 2017, on the residential rate, you're looking at the $138,693,486 in your net taxable value. That's minus your exemption, and that's your net taxable value. With the rate itself, it will be collected of $365,873 in tax dollars. That's for the year 2017. On the non-residential rate, it was $70,422,842 in your net taxable value. With the rate itself, we'll be collecting $233,100, and that is an increase of $7,861. And once again, once we get all our abstracts and our warrants all put together, that either goes up a little bit or it goes down. And on the residential side, you're looking at $358,005 in the property tax. So that's going to be an increase of $7,868, so give or take. I stand for any questions.
Questions? Councilman Smith?
Thank you. So, Mr. Turieta, you started off by talking about tax rates. So how are those tax rates related to the increases that you have as a cap and to what people are actually going to be paying? I think that's what the citizens really want to hear.
That's pretty much the bottom line. On the residential side, you actually looking at a 3% cap, and I'm so glad you brought that up on the residential side, and that's all of Grand County. So you're looking at about a 3% increase on your full value. So you're actually looking at less than 1% on your net taxable value. You have to subtract all your exemptions from your head of household exemptions, veteran exemptions, and it is a very small increase when it comes down because it's on the full value, not on your net taxable value. And once again, you have a budget of 10 million. No matter how you look at it, you will arrive with that 10 million. If your value is high, your tax rate will be low. If your tax rate is high, your value will be low, but you're actually going to balance out no matter how you look at it. The only way we're going to increase more in valuation is called net new, and that's something that's not on the books itself. And I do have a very good plan, thanks to my chief deputy and my office itself, where we might, in the process, can bring in more revenue for the counties, the cities, the municipalities, the schools, and that's going to be coming up probably in the year 2018.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
And welcome aboard, Desiree.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is item 9N. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brown?
at the last council meeting, we had a whole bunch of people come in and ask the town to not celebrate Columbus Day. I just wanted to state that that is not an official holiday for the town of Silver City and hasn't been for as long as I've been employed with the town, for 20 years at least. It's not a holiday that's official for the county, the schools, the university, no government entity in Grant County, I believe. I don't know about the mining district. So I just wanted to state that and let everybody know.
Thank you for clarifying that. Anything else, Mr. Brown?
No.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mayor. The golf course, did you want to speak? Yes, excuse me.
Yes, we've been getting some questions, well, public records requests on payments that we have to make to as you know, the university operates the golf course for us, and they operate our liquor license at the golf course for us. We do share some costs of operations with them. Last year, we contributed $75,000 to the operations, and this year we budgeted $100,000 for operations at the golf course. In the lease, it does say that we're paying them $12,000, $1,000 a month for the operation of the liquor license. We are doing that through that $75,000 payment and the $100,000 payment. We don't have to split it out. Government to government transactions, you don't have the problem of a anti-donation, which, for instance, when Silver Fairways operated the golf course, there were anti-donation issues. We could not give them a partner, do a public-private partnership with them because they were a private entity. With the university, we can. And most of the money that this year that we are using is going to be used for capital projects, such as we're going to be looking to pave the parking lot. We're going to start paving a few of the cart paths a year, and that's how we're going to be using the money that we contribute.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Brown? Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Brown?
No.
Next item is 9A, under public hearing. The approval/disapproval of a transfer of location of liquor license number 493 with an on-premises consumption only and patio service. License number 0493, application number 856265-B. Name of applicant, Dahl Enterprises, LLC, DBA Q's Southern Bistro. Proposed location, 101 East College, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. The hearing will be conducted as follows. The town council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. The town staff shall present a brief synopsis of the application based on the application or actions taken below. Then the proponent of the application shall present his or her case. Next will come witnesses in support of the proponent's case. The proponent, staff, or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the proponent if that concludes his or her case in chief, and will state that the proponent and his or her witnesses shall remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board or by opponents to the appeal or application. Following the close of the proponent's case, witnesses in opposition to the proponent's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall then have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. Have any members of this hearing board had any ex parte discussions with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communication from any party in this case? Okay. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise to be sworn in by Yolanda Hokeem. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
Raise your right hand.
I have to put my hand in my pockets. I do that all the time.
I state your name.
I
Do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear and affirm
that the testimony I am about to give
that the testimony I am about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
If you would please sign your name and put your address.
Thank you. Are there any staff members here that will present the application? Mr. Brown, I think that's you.
Basically, what this is a transfer of a liquor license to be used, which is actually going to be leased and used at the Q's Bistro. So going through this process, as you know, is required to do a liquor license transfer. And with that, I'll let you speak your report.
How y'all doing?
When the proponent presents the application, would you please state your name before doing so?
Hi, my name's Ronald Quintana, and I am the, I guess you could say, food and beverage entertainment chef of Q Southern Bistro LLC, and this is my dad.
Hi, my name is Ronald Quintana also.
He's the owner.
I'm the owner of the Q Southern Bistro.
Please present your application.
Basically, what we're doing is we're trying to get a full liquor license there down at Q's. It's a process that we've been working on actually since we've opened down there. The reason why is it opens up a lot of advantages for us, you know what I mean? In an ever-changing market, there's stuff that comes into the town or gives us more options as far as if bigger businesses come into town, it allows us to compete, and mainly that's the ultimate goal, I think, for any restaurant. They want to have a full liquor establishment. It's not going to change the fact that we are a restaurant. We're not going to be a bar. It's not going to be where Q's is going to operate as normal. So we're going to be doing that. Although on the side, we have a building that's roughly around 3,600 square feet. We're only utilizing maybe 2,000 of that, and there on the side we want to build more of an upscale lounge where it still serves food as well as liquor, and that's going to be more of upscale. When I say upscale, more for business professionals sort of thing. I think that there's a need for that here in Silver City, where you could go have a business meeting or to go even after to take a date or anything like that, to get a little bit more of an elevated dining experience, and where you could sit down and have an actual spirit where it's not wine-based or a beer. So that's our plans. That's the reason for us trying to bring it in, and it just allows us to become more competitive, especially in the market. There's a lot of different businesses. I think Silver City's changing demographically. We see the need for that. The number one thing that we get when we do come downtown, when we get a lot of tourists that come downtown, is where's the nearest bar? Where can we get a full liquor license? And I think that it's great that you see other businesses are doing the same thing that we're trying to do as well, and I think that there's plenty of market space and plenty of room to share as far as that areas of business is concerned. I think that what we're trying to do is just basically elevate our business as well as, what downtown has to offer. Do you all have any questions or?
Any questions from the council?
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Did you all have a comment? I saw you were, okay. Does the applicant have any witnesses to speak in support of your application?
Mayor, council, I actually went ahead and testified for the Jalisco's Cafe. They actually passed a liquor license probably was last month. I sit on the Economic Development Infrastructure Policy Committee statewide for the New Mexico Association of Counties, and I would just like to make a statement that Silver City is a very unique place, and I love downtown. I love hanging out downtown. I'm a native here in Grant County. I know there are natives also here in Grant County, and I think to stimulate the economy downtown was just great to pass this. So that is my statement, Mayor, Council.
Thank you. This concludes your case, in chief? Any other?
Well, I like the fact that he said that, one of the goals for us trying to do this is so that we can offer more jobs and stuff like that with a lot of locals and people just even at the college trying to, get a job. And too, when him saying, being from here, and you see a lot of, whether it's even Santa Fe or these little towns that are real more like how we have our downtown rural arts district, there's plenty of little fine dining restaurants like we have, little bars and stuff like that. And I just think it's a great opportunity that we have, and I don't want to pass that up, to better our business and as well, again, better the town of Silver City. So,
thank you. The applicant witnesses in support shall remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board or by opponents to the application. Are there any persons who wish to testify in opposition to this application? I don't think I saw anyone else sworn in, so I'm assuming there will not be. Is there anything else the applicant wishes to be reflected in the record?
Just I appreciate everyone's support with everything that we do.
Okay, thank you. Is the hearing board prepared to consider the application and render its decision?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Kano.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve of the transfer of location of liquor license number 0493 with on-premises consumption only and patio service, license number 0493, application number 856265B. Name of applicant, Dahl Enterprises LLC, doing business as Q Southern Bistro, proposed location 101 East College, Silver City, New Mexico 88061.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Ray.
gladly second that motion.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilor Conlon?
Thank you, Mayor. I've been a pretty loyal customer of Q's since literally day one that they opened, and I am thrilled that they are doing this. I think that Q's Southern Bistro fills a niche in this community that no other restaurant fills, and I know that I can speak for most of the regulars at Q's. We're all thrilled that this is happening, so congratulations to them.
Okay, any other discussion?
What she said.
Yeah,
Ditto, huh? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Do we have to have a roll call? What's the public hearing? Is it a roll call?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next, Councilor Edison.
I move for a short break.
Okay, is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
A short break will follow. Call to order. The next item on the agenda is new business. Item 11A is the approval/disapproval of Resolution 2017-25, a resolution approving the 2017 Town of Silver City Comprehensive Plan. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, we have Jamie Embrick here, who's done, between her and Priscilla, have done most all the work.
Ms.
So
Embrick,
I wanted
please
to...
come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I don't really have anything new to present to you from last time, but I would like to again thank Southwest Council of Governments, Christine Logan at New Mexico Economic Department, Mr. Brown, Mr. Scaravron, Mr. Marshall, the residents, the steering committee, Priscilla, the department heads. It wasn't possible without all of these people, and my steering committee was wonderful. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Questions?
I asked last time.
Thank you very much. So I hear a motion.
Mr. Mayor, can I make the motion?
Councilman Smith.
Since I went to so many of those meetings, I would be honored to make the motion. I move to approve Resolution 2017-25, a resolution approving the 2017 Town of Silver City Comprehensive Plan.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Bedison?
I second the motion stated.
You have a motion and second. Any discussion?
Do you have some, Councilor Colonel? I have a statement.
Councilman Smith?
I just really do want to recommend that if citizens have not looked at the final plan, then you access it on the Silver City Town website and look at it. There are a number of wonderful sections. I know that I was talking with some folks this weekend about a section about neighborhood transportation planning, about looking at neighborhoods who would like to look at traffic and issues in their town, and that outlines a way that would be appropriate for the neighborhood to approach and work with the town and the police. Things like that are new and really wonderful are there in the plan for all of our benefits. So please look at it.
Councilor Bedison?
Thank you, Mayor. I just would once again like to thank all of the community members that participated in this, and of course all the staff at the Community Development Department, and all the council members and everyone that participated. I think that this is truly, as I said, I think last time, this is truly a plan created by Silver City for Silver City, and I know that it won't be static on the shelf. It'll be constantly reviewed and updated as needed, and I'm very excited about it, and thank you again for everything.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Yolanda.
Councilor Amon Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Connell?
Aye.
Councilor Bedison? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item is 11B, the approval/disapproval of two public celebration permit applications for Oktoberfest to be held on October 17th, 2017, with alcohol service from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Little Toad Creek. 200, is the right number? 200? 200 North Boulevard? Okay. Yeah, I punched a hole right through that. Silver City, New Mexico. Liquor license holder information: 1 Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA, Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63013, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061, and 2 Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA, Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67085, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. Mr. Brown?
First, before Ms. Dalberdine makes her presentation, usually on these applications, we have a sign-off sheet that all the department heads have reviewed it. There was a mix-up, and we didn't get that sheet out. But I have spoken with the most important department heads, which are the fire chief, the police department, Lieutenant Cruzan has reviewed it, has seen it before tonight. They've all seen it before tonight. If you have any questions from them about any concerns, they're here. Also, from the streets department, she did ask for some barriers so to make sure no vehicles drive in. We've discussed that. That's not a problem. So with that, Ms. Dalberdine. And this was on that she did.
Welcome, Ms. Dalberdine.
Mr. Mayor and Councilors, thank you for considering this application. This will be our 4th annual Oktoberfest, and I think it's been a really fun celebration for all of us, our staff, and for the community. So we're happy to be doing it again. A little bit of a change this year, and I think you noticed that I did have a typo on the map that we corrected. I'm not sure if you all got that, but we will be doing this in the back alley behind the Toad instead of on the street, which is what we've done in years past. So I accidentally left a little bit left over from last year's map that mentioned Bullard Street, but we crossed through that and I initialed it, so hopefully that got to everybody as far as the actual location of it. We will have our fencing, 5-foot fencing back there, make sure that everyone's safe. Actually, the permit goes till 11, and we do that just to allow ourselves plenty of time to clean everything up and get inside before our permit expires. But our 8 o'clock band is indoors, so that we encourage everyone to start moving inside about dark, because it's a little bit too small back there to have a big party out there in the dark. So we'll start encouraging movement inside at 8 p.m. Do you have any questions?
Councilor Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I couldn't quite tell from the map, but does the outdoor area extend only behind the Toad, or did you get permission to extend it on behind some of the other buildings?
The owners of the Pink Store have given us permission to use. We actually rent
that's right, you rent
a space from them, and so we have permission to use that little patio area behind that as well.
Okay, good. I'm going to extend it. I want to encourage you to also make sure just to double check on your letter to us, you didn't tell us the date. I had to look on the application. So what date is the Oktoberfest, please?
It is October 7th.
Okay, October 7th, it will be that. I believe I've been to every one, so thank you.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Do I hear a motion? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve 2 public celebration permit applications for Oktoberfest to be held on October 7, 2017, with alcohol service from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Little Toad Creek, 200 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Liquor license holder information: number 1, Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63013, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061, and number 2, Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67085, at 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061.
Motion, is there a second? Councilor Kano.
Mr. Mayor, I will second that motion as stated.
Motion is second, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item is 11C, the approval/disapproval of a purchase agreement of the parking lot adjacent to the Gila Theater. Councilor Amon Smith.
Mr. Mayor, before we proceed, in the principle of full transparency and disclosure, I want to say that it could be perceived that I might have a conflict of interest in matters affecting the sale of this property. I have continuing business relationships and past financial interests with parties involved in transactions in the past on this property. Now, I want to say I doubt seriously that I'll ever see any financial benefit from sale of the property, but ethically I feel I must recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion? For the purchase of the parking lot adjacent to the Gila Theater.
Madam Council, I just wanted to make a statement before you make the motion on it, if that's okay. But as you know, the Downtown Action Plan has one of the recommendations is to acquire properties that become available downtown, and especially properties that are vacant. This is a vacant lot downtown, and the bank came to me and asked if we were willing to, interested in purchasing it. It is vacant. It's a fenced parking area that we will open to the public. It's not open right now, but we will open it to the public, and we are purchasing it for the appraised price. Okay?
Any questions from the council? Councilor Bedison?
So just to clarify, the map was given to us of the location, and so it's right behind the theater on the west side of Texas, correct?
Yes, the map that I gave you was something I put together real quick this morning off of Google. What's important is the description that is in the purchase agreement. That describes that lot that you see in the picture.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Brown? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve of a purchase agreement on the parking lot adjacent to the Silco Theater.
Gila.
Oh, the Silco here. It's Gila?
Gila on the revised.
Okay. I move to approve of a purchase agreement on the parking lot adjacent to the Gila Theater.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Kano?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item is 11D, the approval/disapproval of RFP 17/18-1P, residential sewer line connection and septic tank abandonment. Mr. Brown?
Mayor, Council, this RFP is a project that is in conjunction with the Ridge Road Sewer Project. As you might remember, the grant does pay for 100% to do the plumbing and abandonment of all the septics in that project area where we are extending the sewer line. It does connect, the funding will pay for the connection of the sewer line from the home to the sewer main for those individuals who qualify for the funding, who make, I believe, 125% of the adjusted gross income for Grant County. And so I believe we've got like 120 people, 120 property owners who have gone in to do applications. And as part of this, the town is waiving the acquisition fee to connect because, of course, has been 100% grant to the town of Silver City, so there has no been any development cost for us, other than staff time, but that will be made up. Oh, so now I gotta tell you the recommendation. We did receive two proposals, one from J&S Plumbing of Silver City and the other of Merrill Enterprises out of Las Cruces. It was an RFP, so it was not based on price. It was based on qualifications, and price was looked at. So it is staff's recommendation to award the RFP to the sewer line construction and septic tank abandonment to J&S Plumbing of Silver City, and you see their fee schedule, which the grant does have sufficient funding to do all of the work that will need to be done.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? I don't think this ever was done, but has there been any environmental study done on San Vicente Creek down below the bottom of the hill? And I'm just wondering if there's any way to measure the impact of eliminating the sewage.
Well, that's actually the initial reason that because this is a grant that was done through the ONRT as part of a fine that was levied on Phelps Dodge for a mine spill. I believe I can't remember where it was, but it was a penalty. And as a condition of the penalty between the state and Phelps Dodge, the money was to be used for groundwater protection grants. Initially, we applied for this grant because at the time of application the first time, we had been getting, because we have to monitor the groundwater below because of the old landfill, and we were getting positive hits of contaminants in our testing wells. As the grant process, we were waiting for the grant, this grant, we worked with the Solid Waste Bureau and identified that the test well that we were getting the positive hits for contaminants was actually located in the landfill itself. So once we used all the information from the surrounding test wells, we did not have any test for contaminants. So we do have test wells all in that area, and there has not been any problems that we've seen, because originally we thought part of the reason might have been seepage from the septic tanks. If there is not enough to be identified by the test wells that are downstream, and so, but because they did have enough grant money left over, they thought this was a good project, and so we've gone forward with it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion? Councilor Benson?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve of the purchase, I move to approve of RFP 17/18-1P residential sewer line connection and septic tank abandonment per staff recommendation to J&S Plumbing and Heating.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item under new business is 11D, the approval/disapproval of Resolution 2017-26, a resolution to support efforts of Corey Caminas Transportation Services, FY 2018. Mr. Brown?
We have been working with Correcaminos in various capacities since its inception. The JPA that is in place provides for the ability to all the entities to provide a certain amount of funding to match the grants that are necessary to operate the program. There are 4 governmental entities that are members of the JPA. It is Silver City, Grant County, Deming, and Luna County. All of them make matching contributions. We've been doing it since, I believe, 1999 or 2000. But the contributions, the DOT never required that we do a resolution, so we were just doing letters of support. This is why this is the first time you see a resolution. The only thing is that our actual match that we usually contribute is $72,000, so I would ask that if we can change it to the 72, because that was what we've been paying for the last 3 years. And I want to make sure that we do the same what we had committed to.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Councilor Connor?
Actually, I do have a question. Does the town of Silver City have any say in the decisions that are made about Corte Caminos? Because I know there's been several changes recently, and they've affected members of our community, and I've heard about them, so I'm wondering if there's...
We are one vote on the board, and so we do have a voice at the board. Somewhat, and Councilor Amon Smith is that voice.
Councilor Amon Smith?
With permission, I'll speak to that. Corte Caminos funding primarily comes actually as a flow-through from the Federal Department of Transportation to the New Mexico Department of Transportation. So our cash match is a small portion of the actual funding to run Corte Caminos. When I was appointed to the board, when I first joined the council, there was a great deal of difficulty, confusion, and financial, how shall I say it, disarray. And that has really come into, that's really been cleaned up. But for the past 2 years, the New Mexico Department of Transportation has been making strong recommendations to Corte Caminos that they do some actions with the routes that were the least cost-effective and actually least, how shall I say it, used. So there were on-demand routes that were costing over $300,000 a year and serving a small portion of people. Corte Caminos is working on figuring out how to serve those people. But the DOT was pretty clear that they really needed to look critically and rationally at decisions that they were making with the routes. And I'm going to say I have supported that from day one when I became a part of the board, is that they have a more rational approach. So I really support us being more formal and rational in our decision-making with Corte Caminos. So another thing that was required this year was that we have a resolution rather than a formal letter of support. And so, in my view, the Corte Caminos as a public transportation system, is getting its act more together than it has in the past. I'd be happy to talk with more about that.
Councilor Connor?
I'm just really concerned because in this resolution it says continuing the invaluable services that are vital to the quality of life of our community. And I know that there are many, many people in my district. My district has the lowest income, probably I don't know exactly how you would word it, but I have a lot of low-income residents who I know use that bus, and I'm concerned about them because a lot of them are elderly and disabled, and now they're going to be having to walk quite far to get to their bus stops. And so I'm not sure that that's exactly continuing the invaluable services that are vital to the quality of their lives in our community. So I'm hesitant to vote for this.
Okay. Any other questions while we're on questions? Councilor Bedington?
So, Councilor Smith and Mr. Brown, it sounds like some steps are being taken for Corte Caminos to be a little bit more transparent in the use of the funding that they're receiving, because I know that's always been a bit, no one seemed to know what was what and everything.
Let me explain some of the types of things that actually happened that have led us to these points. Approximately 2007, 2008, the Correcaminos was run and funded primarily, all the match was funded through the town of Silver City and Grant County. The administration at Correcaminos actually went and subcontracted services to Deming and Luna County while we were the only ones paying for it. And that's what led to us forcing Deming and Luna County to become participants of the JPA if they wanted the services. We also had participation from Hidalgo and Lordsburg. They've since stopped funding it because they can't afford it, so they don't get anything out of it. A lot of things like that, providing a route to a resident, a friend, a lot of that type of thing was going on. And I think trying to be more efficient and developing a route where, and I've got the same calls you did about seniors that aren't going to be able to get the demand service, is to try to change the route so that it gets closer to those people as much as possible without having to go to everybody's house and pick them up individually. I'm trying to be more efficient, and the state is demanding it. And if we don't do these types of things, then the other 80-90% of the people who still use it. I see that bus stop that's right next to your apartment building. There's people there all day long that I see use it constantly, and at the hospital and these other ones. All those people might lose their service if we don't make these changes, and that's part of the thing. And I see, because I also understand that the senior services have decreased as well, so they are getting hurt, and I think we do need to find some way of helping them. But we can't lose the entire funding with that.
So, question I would have is for the people that are on, like you represent the town of Silver City, the question is in order to provide seniors and folks who are disabled with the services that they need, are there other potential monies that can be acquired that will focus specifically on making sure that those folks get their services? There's like no senior service money or no funding through,
I know senior services funding has decreased substantially.
Right.
In fact, I believe they've limited the number of people that they take Meals on Wheels to now.
Yes.
And that's hurting the people that you're directly talking about. We need to work together to try to figure out how we can fix that problem. Because that funding is all coming from the state, and they're the ones saying, you're going to cut it. And to me, the state needs to get their act together and stop passing the buck.
Another brief comment, which is that a number of the folks who are served currently by Correcaminos on demand aren't going necessarily, and this is the thing that the board was the most worried about, with people who are going for medical services. Right. However, it turns out that if you are eligible and are using Medicaid, that a portion of those funds are supposed to be able to provide transportation. And I know that the Correcaminos management is working with HMS, who's now running the senior center, as HMS Family Services, to truly try to use that particular funding, which had been not really brought forward before. So they really are working to make sure that those people are not left in the lurch.
Yes, my wife works for one of the insurance companies, and my sister works for another one. They do the same job, and it's trying to educate people on, help them walk themselves through the different services that they can get. And my wife was actually, because we talked about Correcaminos, and she was explaining to me about how many of the people that she works with don't realize that the insurance will pay for your transportation, for the taxi, for these taxis that come from Las Cruces or Deming. They'll pay for them to come and pick you up and take you to your doctor's appointment and bring you back. So I think education is part of what we need to do as well. And plus, we need to work on the senior stuff. You know, it's just something that needs to be done.
Councilor Ray?
Mr. Brown, talk about that. Does HMS have the personnel to say something like that and to explain to the people that they can use their insurance to be transported like that?
I don't know. I don't know anybody that works for HMS, but as an individual, if you have insurance, you can call your insurance company and ask them. They're not gonna give it up to you. They're not gonna tell you up front. You need to call and ask them, and that's what I think we need to do, is get people to make those calls and ask, what benefits do I have?
Councilor Smith?
That was a very topic of conversation at the last board meeting, was how to really access and get some advocates for those folks who are often sick and elderly, and it's, calling is difficult. And Corey Caminos and HMS are really trying to work together on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 2017-26, a resolution to support efforts of Corps Caminos Transportation Services with a change of that Talent Services Committee to provide $72,000 in cash match for fiscal year 2018.
Okay. The motion, is there a second? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll second that motion as read.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Brown, just a question. Is financial issues why the other communities in the mining district don't participate financially?
Yes, that's been the history on most of the JPs that the mining district is in. We're working with them to try to get some more funding from them.
Okay. All in favor of the, we have a roll call, please, Yolanda.
Councilor Raymond Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Cano?
Aye.
Councilor Bedison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The last item under new business is 11F, a discussion and vote on whether to change the regular council meeting scheduled for November 14, 2017. Councilor Bedison, you wish to introduce this?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I am requesting that the council consider potentially moving the meeting from November 14th to Monday, November 13th at 6 p.m. I will be attending the National League of Cities City Summit in Charlotte, North Carolina, as one of the members of the Executive Committee of the Municipal League Board. And it just seems to be the most effective use is to get there, is to actually leave on a date that most everybody else is leaving, so I can be there. And unfortunately, given the timing of when I would need to leave, flying out of Grant County, and then getting there after traveling most of the day, I think I'm going to be a little bit too tired to be able to stay awake to, because it's 2 hours difference from Silver City. So I ask for that consideration. I know that currently there's no public hearing scheduled for that date, and the community development's has let them know. I know there's something pending on that date that I would really like to be part of the discussion of, but if the council, if individual councilors, that date of November 13th doesn't work with their schedule, I mean, it'll be what it shall be. I'll be unable to attend.
Question?
Councilor Smith?
Question, is this room available that evening? It is. Okay. All right.
Did you make a motion yet?
I haven't, I will.
Would you make a motion, please?
I move to change the regular town council meeting schedule for November 14th, 2017 to November 13th, 2017 at 6 p.m. in this room.
Okay. We have a motion, is there a second? Councilman Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Featherston?
I just wanted to let the council know that the reason for doing this early is so that if the decision is made, that folks have enough time to put it into their schedules, but also to get plane tickets. So, that are not going to cost an arm and a leg, just an arm.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of changing the regular council meeting from Tuesday, November 14th to Monday, November 13th, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This concludes the business of the town of Silver City. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Councilman Smith?
Second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.